Every day it feels like we hear about another meatpacking plant that's become a coronavirus hotspot. Even with President Trump ordering these meat plants to stay open, we're starting to see shortages in beef and pork, which means higher prices. So maybe we shouldn't be surprised that Beyond Meat, the maker of plant-based burger and sausage alternatives, just reported a spectacular quarter last night. Here's a stock that's been a real wild trader, plummeting from 120s to 48 during the COVID crash, then rebounding to 100 as of yesterday, and then Beyond Meat reported this magnificent quarter last night. Surprise profit, although not to us, driven by much better than expected sales, up 141% year over year. While they had to pull their full-year forecast, who could blame them? Management explained that their sales accelerated once the pandemic took hold, thanks to the run on groceries. That's more than offsetting any pain on the food service side that all these analysts are so worried about. No wonder the stock surged 26% today. Does it have more room to run? Let's dig deeper with Ethan Brown. He's the founder and CEO of Beyond Meat to get a better read on the quarter and where his company's headed. Mr. Brown, welcome back to Mad Money.
Jim, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Now, all right, listen. I know I've known you for a while, and I know what makes you tick, and I know what the analysts don't know, which is that you run a company that's an ethos. It's a belief. And now there's this Dr. William Willett. I bet you know him. He's the foremost health nutrition doctor of our time. And he said last year that if we do not take action and switch to a plant-based diet, what is going to happen is we're going to have a catastrophic pandemic. Is that not one of the main reasons why Beyond Meat lives and is doing so well?
Right. So I think that's a terrific context to start a discussion. If you look at what's happening, you don't necessarily need to be someone who's versed in biological systems or global ecosystems to see a series of incidents occurring that come together as a pattern, whether you see the coronavirus impact here on the U.S. meat supply, or you see what's almost been forgotten, which is the swine flu in Asia, or even the avian flu that you're seeing occurrences of now in South Carolina and in Ireland. We've reached the point where there's so many livestock on the Earth's surface that we're running into challenges with keeping that system working, and that supply chain is now, as many in the industry themselves have said, is under enormous pressure. So I think we are reaching a tipping point.
Now, if we did go to the tipping point, would there be, David Faber kind of chided me in this, but you're not a big company yet, but would you be able to scale to effectively to be able to handle what you know is going to be a world that has 10 billion people one day?
Yeah, so Jim, as you know, I'm hopelessly focused on market share. We're a very long-term oriented company, so we're going to look at this summer as a real opportunity for us to be relevant to the consumer as they're looking for solutions as the meat supply has been disrupted. So we're going to take aggressive pricing over the summer to be able to make our product be much more closer to the animal protein equivalent. When you look at beef, which is now at $4.10 a pound on the wholesale markets, and you transfer that into retail, we have a fighting chance now as we offer value packs, which, by the way, any retailer that wants to offer a value pack by Beyond Meat, we'd love to sell it to you. We're developing those right now for the summer season. We view this as a massive opportunity for us to drive trial and win consumers over into our segment.
I am tired of hearing people saying, but you know what, the chemicals, whatever. I'm looking at the new sausage. It is far less fat, far less saturated fat, far less sodium. I mean, the complaints are done.
Yeah, that's frustrating for us too. We're very proud of our process, and our process is a very clean process. It begins with taking protein directly from the plant and then using a system of heating, cooling, and pressure to restructure that into the form of muscle. That's it. You have to compare that with the other process, which is growing the crops and then feeding those crops to animals and then harvesting those animals. So there's many steps in that process as well. It's important to look at each process and say, okay, which one do I prefer? Now, you're welcome to come anytime to our facilities, knock on the door. We'll explain our process to you. We have transparency there. We think that people have the right to see how their food is being made. And so we're very proud of our process. On the ingredients, that we've made a commitment to use no genetic modification at all and to use no artificial ingredients. So we need to make products that mom and dad are very comfortable feeding to their families. And I think we follow through on that commitment.
Okay, so what really matters to me is right now there is a notion that if you do not have the food, the cafeterias and offices, that means it's going to be bad. But you showed retail demand in April was huge. But I am concerned. I interviewed Chris Kempczinski at McDonald's about you, okay? And I know he's talking about the trial not. And he said he knows I like you. He knows I like the product. He knows I wear the hat. He knows I'm a believer.
Thank you.
I said to him, well, how's it going? He goes, Jim, our system operates best at scale. We don't do hobbies really well. Use the word hobbies. Then take the hat off, and I go to Kevin Johnson last night at Starbucks. What does he say? We have a great relationship with Ethan. Why? Because you are doing multi-decade environmental sustainability. Hobby or ethos?
That's terrific. So it's definitely an ethos. It's one that this generation so clearly understands. As we've talked about before, Jim, we go to college campuses and the reaction is amazing because I think particularly this generation coming up understands that we can't continue to have the ratio of people to livestock in a finite ecosystem. So we have to start making a different model for producing meat. And we have that model and people are excited about it. So it's definitely not a hobby. We are working very well with very large QSRs that are global, including McDonald's. The tests we did with them was I think, very successful. And what you'll hear from us throughout the course of this year with new partnerships and new relationships globally with some of the world's largest quick serve restaurants.
Well, I have to believe that your joint venture with Starbucks in China is going to drive China sales for Starbucks meaningfully move the needle, because that's what Kevin thinks. You agree with me?
I'm so excited about that launch. I want to be over there now. I wish I could be there. The moment all these restrictions lift, I'm going. It's such a great opportunity for us. I love what Starbucks has done. They've made a commitment to sustainability and to health, and they're living up to that commitment. So it's something that I'm very eager to. Look at all of our partners. Look at the sausage at Dunkin', for example. Right. All the incredible benefits there, whether Carl's or Hardee's, et cetera, where you're getting more protein, more iron, you're getting less fat, you're getting less saturated fat, you're getting less sodium. These are benefits. And so the next step for us is to continue to drive down our direct materials and direct labor, which we did very well over this last quarter, which produced that record gross margin. We had the lowest COGS we've ever had as a company in this past quarter. And we're going to keep marching at steady progression of continuing to achieve those cost reductions so that someday we can underprice animal protein.
We need to do $1 billion in sales, all right? $1 billion in sales next time we see each other. Ethan Brown, founder, president, CEO of Beyond Meat. It's not a hobby, it's an ethos. Mad Money's back after the break.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.